Hey guys, it's Frozenballz here, and welcome to yet another episode of Minmaxer's Playground. Today, we're going to be talking about Equinox. Equinox is a type of frame that requires a lot of farming. Equinox is made up basically of two Warframes combined into one, which means the amount of farming which you do for a normal Warframe is just basically doubled. Having said that, Equinox is a very good frame for CC, damage, buffing your teammates, and it also has one particular ability set which works very well with synergizing with both arcanes as well as focus. There are four main builds when it comes to Equinox. The first one is a main build, the second one is a buff build, the third one is a finisher/melee build, which has the synergies, and the last one is the CC build. The first build is the main build. The way MAME works is 75% of an enemy's health gets converted into stored damage. MAME is a toggled ability, so when you press 4, it drains power over time. So whenever you kill enemies within the range of MAME, it converts 75% of their HP into damage, which is stored. The best way to prove this is by showing it in practice. Here you have a covert lethality dagger, which does true damage to an enemy. Using it on a level 140 gunner, you can see that it has a true HP value of 78,708. When you multiply this by 0.75, you get a total value of 59,031, which is 75% of the total HP of the enemy. When you have Equinox's ult activated, whether it's the day form or night form, in the top right corner you will see the value of the amount that is stacked, and as you can see, it is 59,031, which is exactly 75% of the damage you did. Now, the reason why this is so good is because it is 75% of the enemy's HP, which means MAME scales infinitely. It is one of the last abilities that is left in this game which has infinite scaling, and it's absolutely fantastic. This damage output is also further improved by using her third ability, Provoke, and this build has a lot of synergy as well. You can use two MAME build Equinoxes at the same time, trading them MAMEs and stacking their damage and, wiping out wave after wave after wave of enemies. And it also works with tricks like the Void lasers in, the Void tile set, or anything else that inflicts massive damage to enemies. Now, technically, you could also have a team running with covert lethality daggers, doing finishers on enemies and, be able to stack the damage like that. But the point is, it has a lot of synergy, and that's one of the best things about Equinox itself. It may be prudent to point out that one of the best elemental combos for an Equinox is using a viral Ignis. A viral proc basically reduces enemy HP by 50% for 6 seconds. Killing an enemy while MAME is active converts 75% of their HP into damage for MAME. What that basically means is you've got a 25% overflow of extra damage stored up, so that means you are guaranteed to kill every single enemy when you use a viral proc and then you pop your MAME finisher. This requires a lot of energy, and since it's a toggled ability, one of the best arcanes which you can use with this is Arcane Energize. In terms of actual functionality, it's pretty simplistic and pretty straightforward. You literally activate her 4, you activate her 3, you kill enemies, it stacks up damage. Once you've got enough stack of damage, you release it when you have a big group of enemies and you wipe them all out. For this particular build, we're using Transient Fortitude, Intensify, and Energy Conversion. This provides enough damage, you can literally walk through low level content and medium level content and kill everything with the slash procs. But when it comes to start doing the high level content, you will be killing all the enemies, yes, but you won't be killing them with the slash procs, you'll be killing them with the stored damage. Fleeting Expertise and Streamline means more efficiency, and Prime Flow obviously gives you a bigger energy pool to add to that efficiency itself. Overextended for range, same with Stretch, and Power Drift just adds more power strength itself. The reason we don't use Blind Rage is because otherwise it would drain way too much energy, and it's really not worth it. You don't need Duration because you've got maximum efficiency anyway, so the drain is very low. And Corrosive Projection is usually the aura which I go with, although as I've stated many times before, you change the aura depending on what type of enemy you're fighting. The second build is the Equinox buff build. This build revolves around the entire idea of providing the maximum power buff that you can give to your teammates. Teammates caught within the range of Provoke basically get increased power strength. And unlike Pacify, the power strength bonus does not fall off with distance. The power strength bonus cannot exceed a maximum of 50% unless you're using the augment, which is Peaceful Provocation. To benefit from the buff, the teammates have to use their abilities within range. To maximize the buff build, you use the Peaceful Provocation augment. Peaceful Provocation adds 30% more power strength up to a maximum of 80% power strength. By killing enemies affected by the aura, you increase your power strength even further. Then it's just a matter of sitting in range of your teammates. This ability increases their power strength, so their abilities get affected, and then it increases their damage output even further. This build relies on using maximum power strength in the form of using Transient Fortitude, Blind Rage, Intensify, Power Drift, and Energy Conversion. Vitality gives you a bit of survivability, Fleeting Expertise and Streamline gives you more efficiency, and Stretch gives you some range itself. With Stretch, you get enough range that you can benefit from using using this ability in a team, people will usually be sitting close by, or, you know, even if they move away, they won't be going too far away, so you still get enough range that you can buff the teammates. It literally is, as it says on the tin, activate her buff your teammates, watch their damage numbers soar, and rinse and repeat. The third build for Equinox revolves around using her augment Peaceful Provocation. This is a fully crowd control based build which revolves around slowing down enemies. Normally, Pacify and Provoke only stacks up to 50%, but with this augment it goes up to 80% and it slows down enemies kind of like a Slow Nova does. It's a decent ability set and a build, but at the same time it's still kind of mediocre, especially when you kind of compare it to, like, for example, a Slow Nova or Necros when he uses Terrify. Terrify has short range, but it's instant cast and it, you know, provides good CC. Nova is a long duration and far-reaching ability, and it locks down entire rooms or multiple rooms depending on how much range and duration you stack on your actual build itself. Having said that, let's just talk about the build itself real quick. In this particular build, you use Peaceful Provocation, obviously, since you need the augment. You use Cunning Drift, Stretch for extra range. You use Streamline for efficiently. Combine that with Prime Flow, you know, for more power pool as usual. Prime Continuity adds more duration, which also adds to, you know, the drain efficiency. Intensify and Transient Fortitude add extra power strength, and they add just enough power strength to get up to 80% and not more, so it's not wasting it. If you use Blind Rage, you end up using more power per second because of the drain that Blind Rage causes, so it's usually better to go with Transient Fortitude plus Intensify. Vitality provides that HP buffer so that you don't get instantly destroyed, so it's kind of necessary to kind of have something like that. Since this is a build which revolves around a toggled ability, you could kind of use Quick Thinking, but personally I just like using Vitality. It's just kind of easier. In terms of auras, again, Corrosive Projection or anything which you prefer using kind of works in this scenario itself. And now we come to the most interesting build. This build was showed to me by Arthi, and the reason why I like this build a lot is because it has actual synergy between arcanes, abilities, as well as weapons, and even has synergy for your actual focus system. In particular, you use the Naramon focus system here. When weapons and Warframes have synergy, it kind of gets my nerdgasm on. That's all I'm going to say. So this particular build, the way it functions is it revolves around using the Common Frenzy augment and in Night form. Every time you use Rest on enemies, they basically are opened up for finishers. Unalerted enemies remain unalerted. However, alerted enemies, when you use Rest on them, will still remain alerted. So it's not the same as Ivara's Sleep Arrows, but if you start off a mission completely unalerted to begin with, you'll be completely fine. And technically, you can actually use this for doing a stealth exterminate. I tried doing that earlier on, and it was actually pretty fun. And it was a different way of doing it without actually, you know, easy moding it with an Ivara or a Loki or whatever. It was actually quite fun. In terms of this particular build, you're going to go with maximum range. Since Equinox has a toggled ultimate, you can actually have that activated and use it as a healer for both yourself and the team. But the main ability here, which you're going to be using, is going to be Rest anyway. Since this build revolves around using maximum power range, you use Cunning Drift, Overextended, and Stretch to get 250%. Handspring is there as a utility mod, so if you get knocked down, you can get straight back up again. Prime Flow and Quick Thinking work hand in hand with Streamline to provide you both a bigger power pool, more efficiency, so that you can use your powers more, and also give you some sort of survivability so that you don't get one shot. Quick Thinking is usually a better tank for most Warframes that have a big energy pool because it's basically like a secondary oh shit button. Prime Continuity there is to increase the duration of the stun from Rest, so an enemy that is hit by Prime Continuity can stay stunned for a longer period of time, so it gives you more time to maneuver and kill stuff. Now, here's the interesting bit. You can use this with Naramon. If you say, for example, were to use a dagger with Covert Lethality, you have unlimited scaling in terms of damage, but now on that particular dagger, if you put on Maiming Strike and Prime Reach, now you can do a slide attack once, go invisible, and you can just continue doing your finishers as well, and you can do your stealth exterminate that way as well. Alternatively, you can also use something like an Orthos Prime or an Atarax and do the exact same thing. Use a Maiming Strike build, go invisible with Naramon, and just keep killing them. Using Arcane Trickery works as well if you're using daggers, so if you use Covert Lethality plus Arcane Trickery plus this build, you know, it's just continuous synergy one after the other. It just keeps combining and just makes the combination even bigger with each ability used. You don't need Life Strike because your ultimate heals you and your allies based on the damage dealt. Now, because you have unlimited scaling for the abilities and because you've got unlimited damage through Covert Lethality, this ability will heal you no matter what. You kill one enemy, it'll heal you straight back up because we have a limited amount of HP, whereas enemies don't at high levels. Here's an example showing exactly how well this build works and synergizes with weapons, arcanes, and focus so well. Using Naramon and an Orthos Prime, I'm basically creating an unlimited chain of CC, and I've also got healing active at the same time. I can keep killing enemies, and if I take lethal damage, I can heal myself or teammates up as well. I can keep stacking damage. With Arcane Energize, I've got a never-ending supply of power coming in. With Naramon, I'm permanently invisible as long as I do the Maiming Strike invisible slide attack, and if I so choose, I can also do finishers as well at the same time. The synergy that this particular build has with everything combining together is in perfect harmony, and it is absolutely fantastic. So there you have it. Those are the main 4 builds for Equinox. I would highly recommend you try out the Equinox finisher build. It is absolutely fun to use. The main build is used very efficiently and very well for clearing out, defenses very quickly. You can just trade maims and stuff like that. The buff build is a very good build again. It's used in a lot of different scenarios where you're trying to, power level stuff up and you need extra damage or anything like that. Thank you very much for watching, guys. As always, appreciated. This was yet another episode of Minmaxer's Playground covering the Equinox builds this time. If you like what you saw, make sure you leave a like or post a comment. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see whenever I post more updates and other build videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one.